Am I acting a little crazy? That's because I've done a lot of videos in a row and I'm pretty sick of recording them.
Jen motherfucking Jen, President, Jen motherfucking Jen, President, Jen motherfucking Jen, President, Jen motherfucking Jen, President.
Hello, Poppets. How's everybody doing today? I hope you're doing well. Hey, you should follow me on Twitter. I also have a vlog channel if you're interested. I'll link that below. I mean, why would you want to watch that? Am I right? But I am sharing a very funny story with you all today, and it is about the time that I hallucinated. I've always heard about hallucinogenic drugs, and I always wondered, like, would that be fun to try that out? Like shrooms or, I don't know, LSD. I've never tried any of that stuff. The craziest thing I've ever tried was marijuana, and marijuana makes me very paranoid, and it makes me want to eat a lot and then go to sleep, so that's really not that fun for me. I'll just stick to my wine, thank you very much. I have a hard time sleeping at night. I have insomnia. I've had insomnia since I was a small child. I remember laying in bed as a child crying because I could not go to sleep. I remember laying in bed as a child and it would be like 4 o'clock in the morning and I would be bawling my face off crying because I knew that I had to go to school the next day but I could not go to sleep. I usually take something every night that helps me sleep. If I don't, I have a very hard time falling asleep, and a lot of the times even if I fall asleep, if I wake up at all in the middle of the night, it is very hard for me to go back to sleep. So usually my sleep pattern consists of me falling asleep and then waking up like around maybe 2 or 3 and laying awake from like 2 to 5 or whatever and then falling back asleep. It's just been that way for a really long time. And I've tried just about every sleep medication that you can name. Right now I take trazodone and that works really well for me. It pretty much knocks me out pretty quick, and for the most part I don't wake up that much in the middle of the night. But at one point in time my doctor had prescribed me Ambien. But
hi Jen, you got me drinking at 12 noon. What the fuck is your deal? Crunk Panda, Chico Bronson, ain't else dumb enough to believe your bullshit. I'm a firm believer of, if you don't have nothing nice to say, then don't say anything at all. Today is the fucking boiling point. Oh, there's your fucking army. Oh shit, I'm so fucking scared. Cut back to the fucking point.
Sorry, I have a troll on Vine today. Like, where do they come from and why? I don't even know who this person is. So my doctor decided that he would try me on Ambien. And I had a friend who would take Ambien and he was like, you have got to go to sleep immediately after you put that Ambien in your mouth. Matter of fact, I'm going to need you to have your whole body in that bed getting ready to lay down right before you stick that Ambien in your mouth, and don't move after you do that. He would take Ambien and then he would sit up and try to fight it, and then basically he would start just hallucinating. So the doctor, you know, he gave me Ambien and I'm like, okay, well Greg, I hear what you're saying. I hear that like it makes you crazy, but I ain't going to crazy town. I ain't into that shit. Like, I'm gonna take it and then I'm just gonna lay down and go to sleep like it says on the bottle. It says take the Ambien, lay down to go to sleep. Well, one night I didn't do that. I took Ambien probably around 8 o'clock at night because I was planning on being in bed by 9 o'clock at the latest. And I don't remember what happened. I do believe I got to watching something that was like captivating on the television, or probably what happened was that I got in some sort of conversation on social media and just let the time slip away from me. So I want to say it was about 2 hours later, and for some reason the Ambien had not made me sleepy and I had not laid down to go to bed yet. And it had been at least 2 hours since I took it. So I was like, you know what, I'll just take another Ambien and then I'll just go lay down. What happened next happened so quick. I remember being in the bathroom and I had just taken the Ambien. I was using the bathroom and reading a magazine or something, and once I got done, you know, I remember I washed my hands, like brushed my teeth, and I went in the bedroom. And when I went in the bedroom, you know, the dogs were on the bed because I had already put them up on the bed, and I remember going to pet the dog and it seemed like the bed linens were moving. And I thought, well, you know, that's weird. So I remember like shaking my head a little bit to look, and damn, they were still moving. You know how an earthworm moves? That's what the bed linens were doing. And I was like, whoa, wait a minute, what's going on? And then I happened to look down at the floor and the carpet was doing the same thing. And no matter how many times I shook my head or like rubbed my eyes or like whatever I did, like nothing stopped. The bed linens were moving, the carpet was moving, and I was like,
oh no, Ambien.
and I knew right away. I was like,
Jen, you fucked up.
I even went in the bathroom and like tried to stick my fingers in my throat and vomit, but by that the Ambien was long gone by then. It was in my system. So like I start to just get freaked out. Shit is moving that shouldn't be moving. I know that it shouldn't be moving, but it is moving, and this is
Freaking me the fuck out.
So I texted my husband and I was like, hey, I'm pretty sure I'm hallucinating from Ambien. He was working the midnight shift and he was like, oh man. He's like, do you want me to come home? And I said, no, I just wanted you to be aware of what's going on because I might text you like to get through this. I'm probably going to be texting you. It might not make any sense, but I just need to get through this
Fucking horrible situation I have now put myself in.
When I say that I have no understanding of why anyone would do this on purpose, I really mean that. I don't understand why anybody would abuse Ambien on purpose because I hated every second of this experience. I don't know why anybody would take anything that makes you hallucinate if this is what it is like, because
It was so bad.
I didn't get in the bed. I was just trying to like stay awake, just get through. Maybe I should have gone to sleep, but I was worried that, you know, if I was in a dark room that I would get totally freaked out, that I would just get completely scared to death. So I stayed up and I was just kind of walking around the house. I remember that I walked into the living room and about the time that I rounded the corner, it looked like the couches were growing and shrinking. Like it looked like the sofa cushions were like
Expanding like big balloons and then shrinking.
and expanding and shrinking just over and over again. And I was like,
Like, oh no, this is trippy as fuck. Like, I don't like this.
but I still was gonna be brave and I was still gonna stay home by myself until I saw a big black dog that does not live here and does not exist walk through my living room. At the time that I saw the imaginary, hallucinatory big dog walk through my living room, I was like,
Fuck no.
I got my phone and I texted my husband and I was like,
Yeah, I'm starting to see living things that are not here. I need you to come home.
luckily, he was not in the middle of a call or anything like that, and he came home. My husband is a hunter, and we differ greatly on the opinion of shooting animals, but he had 4 deer heads in our house. And that night, when he came home, he found me standing in the room where the deer heads were, just staring at the deer. When he walked in, he said that I was like this, staring at the deer. There's one particular deer that I used to use in vines all the time, and I called him Nigel. And a lot of people just really loved Nigel. Nigel even had his own Vine account. He was pretty popular. Nigel was this deer that, you know, I would argue with all the time. And Nigel would spy on me, and Nigel would play pranks on me and stuff. And, you know, just having a lot of fun with this deer head. But Nigel came to life that night. That's how Nigel was born. That night that I hallucinated, I was standing there staring at Nigel, and I kid you not, Nigel was alive. He was staring back at me, and as Nigel was staring at me,
The imaginary wind was blowing through his hair, and Nigel began to grow a mullet.
so when my husband came home, I'm standing there staring at this deer head that is dead, not moving, but to me,
He was alive. He was looking right at me. He was breathing, he was blinking his eyes, and he was growing a glorious mullet.
why? I don't know. I could not tell you why. And the scariest part is that Nigel was on this wall and I'm looking at him, but there's a deer on this wall behind me. And as I'm looking at Nigel,
This other deer keeps coming around my shoulder and like checking in on me.
and so I'm just constantly like this, looking at Nigel and then looking at the other deer. Scariest shit I think I've ever experienced in my life. Do not recommend. 0 out of 10. Don't do it. My husband finally convinced me to go lay down in the bed because he had to go back to work, and I remember just sitting up in my bed and it was like,
The trippiest, most acid-fueled fucking adventure I'd ever been on in my life.
but I never want to do that again. I flushed all the Ambien down the toilet, which several of my friends got mad about. They were like, you could have gave that to me. I flushed every bit of that down the toilet, and I will never take Ambien again. When they say you need to take it and lay down, that's what they mean, and don't ever never double that shit up.
Shit, I might have just told people how to go on a hallucinatory trip.
Please don't do that. I am not telling you to do that. I do not sign off on anyone doing that.
Shit, maybe I shouldn't have made this video.
Anyway, guys, let me stop before I get in any trouble. That was my video for the day. I hope you enjoyed it. Please give this video a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I do videos every Tuesday and Saturday, and I also do vlogs every day on a separate channel. I will link that below, and I will see you next time. Have a good day. Bye!
The peach wine cooler's Hey, sweetie, how are you?
I'm doing alright.
Ethan, you know how I feel about you using slang terms.
I know, Mom. Slang's only for the gangs.